EU crisis as next Merkel Laschet will not stand up to Russia, warning for Biden. Armin Laschet, the CDU's newly anointed candidate to replace Angela Merkel as Germany's chancellor when she steps down later this year, is steadfastly committed to the controversial Nord Stream 2 pipeline and will never stand up to Russia's President Vladimir Putin, a former German MEP has warned. And Hans-Olaf Henkel said the current minister-president of North Rhine-Westphalia will struggle to gain traction with voters, just months before September's crunch federal elections, in which a poll this week put his party behind the Greens, and their candidate Annalena Baerbock. Nord Stream 2 is highly controversial because it would enable Russia to pipe gas supplies directly to Germany, bypassing the Baltic states, Poland and Ukraine. U.S. President Joe Biden is calling on Mrs. Merkel to pull the plus on the deal, with sanctions in force against all companies involved, arguing Berlin's involvement is inappropriate given Germany's membership of NATO. However, Mrs. Merkel this week reiterated her commitment, and Mr. Henkel, who stood down from the European Parliament in 2019, said there was little chance of Mr. Laschet reversing her decision. He told Express.co.uk, as far as Nord Stream 2 is concerned, Laschet is a supporter of this project, less critical of Putin. Merkel and Laschet are criticizing Russia over Putin's aggressive policies only verbally. In fact, I can see one, and only one, advantage in the Greens' political program: they are much tougher vis-a-vis Russia. Although Mrs. Merkel has carefully avoided naming her preferred successor, Mr. Laschet, who was elected leader in January, narrowly defeating Friedrich Merz, is sometimes dubbed Mini Merkel for his closeness to her in terms of policy positions. His chancellorship candidacy was confirmed this week after he was supported by 77.5% of the CDU's executive board members. Rival Markus Söder, leader of the Christian Social Union (CSU), the CDU's Bavarian sister, 22.1%, subsequently saying he accepted Mr. Laschet's victory. Mr. Henkel said, with Laschet, the CDU and now the CSU chose a candidate of the party establishment rather than one of the members, let alone the voters. This candidate may please the media but will find it difficult to attract any enthusiasm of the German voters. In words which called to mind Mr. Laschet's Mini Merkel characterization, Mr. Henkel added, with Laschet the CDU, CSU will run a much higher risk of being replaced by a red-red-green coalition in September consisting of Social Democrats, Communists and Greens. The latter would then provide a totally inexperienced woman, Ms. Baerbock, as chancellor. These three parties stand for more refugees, higher taxes, more state intervention and fighting climate change as top priority without much regard to businesses' needs for competitiveness. Mr. Henkel said Tuesday's Forsa Institute survey, which puts the Greens on 28%, 7 points ahead of the CDU-CSU on 21%, should serve as a dire warning for Mr. Laschet. He added, the smartest thing for Laschet to do now would be to get Friedrich Merz, a Merkel foe, into some sort of a shadow candidate. Soda fans, as well as many supporters of the far-right AfD, may stick to the CDU or return to her if Merz is given a key role in the election campaign and being promised a significant post in a Laschet-led government. Germany's business community favors Ms. Baerbock to succeed Mrs. Merkel, an opinion poll published last week showed. The Civi poll of 1,500 executives for Wirtschaftswoche magazine, conducted on Tuesday and Wednesday, showed 26.5% preferred Mrs. Baerbock, in front of Christian Lindner of the business-friendly Free Democrats (FDP), on 16.2%. Armin Laschet was on 14.3%, with the Social Democrats Olaf Scholz on 10.5%. The remaining 32.5% of respondents were undecided. Ms. Baerbock, 40, a former champion trampolinist and mother of two, has promised a new start with a focus on investing in education, digital and green technologies. Many conservatives are concerned about their prospects without Merkel, who has led them to 4 consecutive federal election victories.